The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
There's a Yid in Flatbush who is perhaps one of the wealthiest men today in the world, but he's definitely one of the wealthiest from Yid in the world. And he lives a very simple life, a very chashuva family. He has a lot of Talmidei Chacham in the family. And he has one of the biggest real estate empires in America. Many thousands, tens of thousands of apartments that he owns, many skyscrapers in Manhattan, very chashuva office buildings all over. He's estimated to be worth close to $2 billion with a B. And how did he get started? He was he's starting out in real estate. His family owned like a little apartment building somewhere in the Bronx maybe. And he bought a new house for himself. A nice simple house in Brooklyn, I think on East 9th Street. And after they bought it, I think the story goes that one of his children were jumping on the bed of the house. You know, in their room, they were jumping on the bed and something gave way underneath the bed and like the floorboard sort of fell in. It's a strange thing. So they took the bed away and they opened up the floorboard and they found there was like a box in there, like you see in the movies, a treasure chest full of diamonds and rubies and cash and bonds and whatever. Bako Mikoko, I think it was like many tens and tens of thousands of dollars worth of wealth. And this is a time that, maybe it was $40,000, but that was when $40,000 was a lot of money. And, like it would be, let's say, $1 million today, perhaps. And, he could have used $1 million, especially starting out. He has a little business, a little real estate, he wants to buy more. You want to build up your business. You don't want to give back that money. You could use that money. He bought the house. He went to Moshe Feinstein, and he asked Moshe, what should he do with the money? So, Moshe basically, after being dan la'alocha, whether or not he has to give it back, but he says, I recommend that you do give it back, and you'll make a Kiddush Hashem, and the Rebbeinu Shalom will reward you in kind. If you give it back, if you're Omer ben Yisrael, it's a hard thing to do. Not so simple to do that. To give money that, I bought the house, I bought everything in the house. I think that was also, when you buy a house, in the contract it basically says that you didn't just buy the house, you bought everything in the house. You bought the chandelier, and you bought the washing machine, whatever, the light fixtures, everything in the house is yours. So maybe in a technical way, he bought the diamonds also. Rav Moshe says, give it back. He gave it back. He created a tremendous Kiddush Hashem, and the rest is history. And he acknowledges, I think to this day, the bracha of Rav Moshe, that I'll get wealthy if I make a Kiddush Hashem like this. Today, he's literally one of the wealthiest people in the world. More recently, within the last few years, there was an amazing story that took place in Connecticut. There was a Rebbe in Yeshiva in New Haven. His name is Reb Noach Mura. And he went on Craigslist. He wanted to buy a desk for his house. So he went on this Craigslist and he found a desk for $150 and he bought it. He picked it up from somebody nearby, a non-Jewish middle-aged woman. And he was moving this desk into his office, but it was off by a fraction of an inch. He wasn't able to fit in. He tried every which way. He took off hinges, and nothing was able to get this desk into his office. So he had to basically take apart the whole desk. And he took the top of the desk off, and there was like a wedge between like the back of the drawer and the desk. He saw like a plastic bag. And in the plastic bag, he saw that there was money in it. And he took out the money, and there were like neatly stacked bundles of $100 bills, and it came out to $98,000. $98,000 for a $150 desk is not a bad return. It's a good investment. So It was him and his wife and another person in the room, and they looked at each other and they say, this doesn't happen in real life. It's crazy. $98,000 for a Rebbe, to see $98,000 in his life is sama. You have to make a shechianu. But to be able to keep $98,000, and you have a lot of responsibilities, and it's an expensive life, and $98,000. And they knew right away that they had to give back this money. There was no shaila that they had to give back the money. And they basically called the lady back. I think he filmed it, like while he was making that phone call. We live in the age of YouTube and everything, so you have to, everything. If you didn't film it, it didn't happen. So it was filmed, and the woman was like going crazy. That was money that she had. That was her nest egg, and she couldn't find it. And she thought like it was misplaced somewhere else in the house. She never thought that it would fall behind, a desk drawer. And basically she wrote him, she gave a little bit of a reward to him, and she paid him for the desk, that the cost of the desk, $150, and gave a little money for the kids. He had 4 children at the time. And she wrote him a letter that said basically, I do not think that there are too many people in this world who would have done what you did by calling me. I do like to believe that there are still good people left in this crazy world we live in, and you certainly are one of them.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org